The weather was showing its rough and windy side at the start of our time in the Whitsundays. It may look a bit wild, but it's no problem for Florence. Although it's not often that we crack out the storm jib, but this was all the sail area we needed to blow us downwind to Shore Island in the southern Whitsundays.
Many years ago, friends bought us a coffee table book of the top places in the world to sail. The Whitsundays were on the front cover, so we're excited to find how they compare to what we've seen across the world so far.
The calm of the anchorage was a real contrast to the sail to get there. We were told that the Whitsundays would be absolutely packed, but we're on Shore Island and there is absolutely no one else here. We have the whole place to ourselves. It's amazing.
Tides here are really big, like 4 or 5 metres, and the beach is really shallow a long way out, so we brought the kayak in so it's easier to carry than the dinghy. I think we're going to be doing this a lot here. Make the most of it while there's no crocodiles.
We spend a lot of time in a very small space on board Florence, so whenever possible we try to get ashore and stretch our legs. We had to wait until the tide went out here though, as at high tide the whole beach disappears.
We'd love to get up to one of the peaks up here, but we can't find the start of any trails. We think they must have got overgrown. There's mention of them online, but we just can't find anything.
The weather might not be perfect, but this is still a spectacular place to visit. Once the weather improved slightly, we sailed on towards the main Whitsunday Island.
This coastline is so huge, and we've probably only got about 7 weeks before we leave for Indonesia from Thursday Island. So we're constantly trying to plan and work out the best places for us to stop on the way and make sure that we're making the most of our time in Australia.
Because we are sailing full time, we don't have any downtime to plan the next section of our route. As everywhere we go is new to us, we need to research the best and safest anchorage before we arrive, and these can change depending on the weather.
Our route is taking us past the famous Hamilton Island, with its exclusive golf course, restaurants and marina. We have to be careful to give the end of the runway a wide berth so that landing jets don't collide with our mast.
And at $125 per day for the marina, we think we'll carry on and find a quiet spot to anchor instead. Bit breezy. Very pretty though. To escape the rough weather and the high prices, we sailed around to Cid Harbour, one of the most sheltered spots in this wind direction.
This is Cid Harbour. There were recently 4 serious shark attacks here, and there are signs everywhere warning you not to swim, but you can still walk up to the hill at the top there, so we're going to go and see what the view's like.
It's been raining all morning, so it's incredibly humid, and I am dripping.
Beats going to the gym though. It's like a step machine with a sauna built in. Look at the way the bark's peeling off this tree. Wow!
It's a pretty special view. I'm sure this would look absolutely amazing on a sunny day. And normally, because we've literally got all the time in the world, when we're travelling places we can just wait until it is a sunny day and go and look at that amazing view. But up this vast coast of Australia, we've got to travel such a large distance in quite a short time frame that for once we can't come back here when it's sunny. So we're having to make the most of it today, even though it's blowing 25 to 30 knots and behind Amy it's raining.
Even on a rainy day it's worth coming up here. It's gorgeous. Florence is just down there behind that hill, and you can just see the beach where we came up and started the hike from. And then all of this is Whitsunday Island, and you can see Hook Island just in the distance. That's where we're heading next. Proper pirate ship now. Hello. Pieces of 8.
So we're just leaving Negara Inlet. It's a beautiful inlet, but unfortunately all the time that we've been here it's been raining and low cloud. But there is a really interesting walk up to some caves where we learnt about the Negara people whose ancestors lived here 9,000 years ago until the Europeans arrived. So now we're going to sail around to Butterfly Bay and see what's there.
The tides run pretty strongly around the Whitsundays. As we came around the western point of Hook Island, the wind blowing against the tide made it pretty choppy.
It's only 12 miles round from Nara Inlet to Butterfly Bay, so there should be plenty of time to jump into the water for a snorkel when we get there. We have been told that this is one of the best spots in the Whitsundays for snorkeling. This is our first snorkel stop in the Whitsundays. Let's see what's there.
The visibility in these bays was not as good as we've grown used to, but the soft coral, fish and giant clams were absolutely stunning.
These clams can grow to 1.5 metres across. The ones we have seen across the South Pacific have been generally much smaller than this, as they used to be harvested and eaten. Now they are a protected species.
We didn't see much healthy hard coral in the Whitsundays. Apparently it was all decimated by Cyclone Debbie in March 2017. But the soft coral and the size of the fish here is extremely impressive.
With the weather starting to improve, we decided to venture out of the shelter of Hook Island to visit some of the more exposed areas of the Whitsundays.
It wasn't long before the wind and the rain returned in the form of several squalls. Thankfully it's easy to see these coming, so we can reduce sail and grab a jacket before they hit us.
Border Island provided a welcome break, its calm anchorage sheltering Florence for the night. The next day the weather had improved again, so we headed on. Today's a real treat. We finally got some Whitsunday sun. Even though we're sailing upwind, it's absolutely glorious today. Sailing up towards Whitehaven Beach, which is the most famous place in the Whitsundays.
We're currently anchored in Tongue Inlet and we're going to sail the dinghy round to see if we can get to Whitehaven Beach, the famous beach of the Whitsundays.
Perfect dinghy sailing conditions, flat water, light breezes. I think the highest risk today is that we're going to run out of wind rather than have too much. These old race boats are used for bringing loads of people out to see the Whitsundays. They pack loads of people on them. They look like they'd be fun to sail, but we hardly ever see them with their sails up.
Look at this water. It's very shallow in here. We've removed the daggerboard and I think we've probably got about that much under the boat. That's why we came in the dinghy, not Florence.
It's the only way to see down and see where the shallow bits are. It's very shallow. Everywhere.
We should be doing this on a rising tide, but it just didn't work out that way with the timings today. So we could have a very long way to carry or walk the dinghy on the way back. It'll be worth it though. This might be as far as we can get. The tide is so strong now that we're either going sideways or backwards. I feel like the Queen. If one could just pull a little faster.
Oh!
There are so many day trip boats, helicopters, charter boats and cruising yachts that come here, but the beach is so big that you get such big sections of it like this all to yourself. It's gorgeous. This sand is so fine that your feet squeak when you walk on it. It's amazing. This is such an incredibly beautiful place. We left at dawn this morning and we're heading out to the Whitsunday Island section of the Great Barrier Reef. It's absolutely flat calm out here. Unfortunately we're having to motor, so Matt's a bit grumpy, but it's the perfect conditions for exploring the reef. Hello Grumpy.
Hello. Those who know us will be shocked to know the engines have been on for 5.5 hours now, which has to be some kind of a record for us. A bad one. I do not like motoring.
So we picked a mooring up by the stepping stones, which is part of Bait Reef. We're not going to waste any time, we're going to jump straight in because the wind is picking up. Massive fish!
Whoa! Even before we jumped in, we could see this big fish circling around the boat. We think it's a giant trevally. It was really inquisitive, and once we were in the water, it kept on approaching us, seemingly as interested in us as we were in it.
The coral wasn't up to much at this spot, but there were massive shoals of fish, and our mate the big fish followed us around. It's encouraging to see that amid the coral rubble there are signs that the reef is recovering, with lots of new coral growth.
Despite having to motor, the conditions were stunning and we were lucky to get such a good opportunity to explore the outer reef.
The Whitsundays have certainly lived up to their reputation. They're an easily accessible, safe cruising ground with plenty of interest. Is it the most beautiful place we've ever been? No. But then you can get here without a 33-day, 4,000-mile ocean passage. If you're sailing up the coast of Australia or looking for a charter holiday, then we think they're definitely worth a visit.
Next time we prepare Florence for the next stage of our adventure to Indonesia and meet some more of Australia's wildlife.
Thank you to all of our patrons for your support, especially to Bill McNamara and Kate and Peter Adkins, our star patrons.
If you like the video, please give us a like and let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to catch the next one.